Welcome to the Sarah Scoop Show. It's time to get the scoop with Sarah.
Hi, I'm Alexa Fischer. I am all about helping people make their wishes come true. I started off as a professional actress, then I started teaching online courses. Now I have over 100,000 students around the world, and I'm an entrepreneur. I created a company called Wishbeads, inspirational, intentional jewelry where you write your wish and tuck it inside a little special cylinder. And I'm an author of the book Wish Work, which is 21 days to help you keep positive and proactive, taking steps towards your wishes. So I believe in people, and I create tools to help them live their best lives. I've always loved people, and I think that was the spark for me getting into acting, which is really about understanding what a character wants, what their objectives are, and then they go after that, which is their actions. But of course, there's always obstacles, which of course is the drama. And I think by studying acting, and I went to the Yale School of Drama, I have an undergraduate degree in acting as well, it really helped me develop an empathy for people, all kinds of people and all kinds of stories. So I share the story where I was filming an episode of the TV show Bones, because after graduate school, I ended up connecting with my agents and doing TV and film and tons of commercials. But the more I acted, the more I really was inside the industry, I realized that there was so much about the business that wasn't about my love of people. A lot of sitting around on set, a lot of, the business behind what it really takes to make television and film and things like that. And when I was filming an episode of the TV show Bones, I found myself, my character, laying on the filthy floor with like fake blood coming out of my mouth. And I had this total like existential crisis of like, oh my God, what am I doing with my life? Like, this is so far away from my desire to really, share the human expression, right? So anyway, in that moment, I really said a little prayer to the universe, like, please give me a sign. What am I supposed to do with my life? And 2 days later, a dear friend reached out to me and said, I need a media trainer. I need someone to help my client, very high profile client, teach them how to be confident on stage, confident with their words, comfortable in their own skin. And that really was a door just flew open for me. And slowly, I started, I said yes. And then as soon as I said yes, without thinking, so I trusted my gut, I knew that it was time for me to develop what was my methodology? Like, how could I use some of the training that I had as an actress, but instead of teaching people how to act like me or act confident, it really became about how can I teach people to connect with their inner light, that it power that shines, that people sort of admire in others. And that began my first online course. Now I've developed a dozen courses, and again, that's what really started my teaching, is breaking it down and turning it into a methodology that anybody can learn to build confidence. Well, on my website at alexafischer.com, I have a really short 3-video course called Broadcast Your Brilliance, because as you know, the world now is online and on video. And so before, it was pretty easy to sort of say, well, video's not for me. I find that now, because we are in these times in the middle of 2020, really forced to be on camera. And yet what is awesome about the availability of video is that anybody has access now to put their material on social, to do Zoom calls, to attend virtual events, host them, to work with clients, to build online courses, and the gatekeepers are gone. And so when you have this opportunity at your fingertips, of course, the nervousness, that not knowing how to do something is sort of scary. But what's exciting is that you can be taught this. And so my free course is where I really direct everybody to go to first. And then from that, I have master courses, master classes that I'm teaching, which is really taking that training and going much deeper and really walking through everybody how to connect and overcome negative thoughts, building those positive thoughts, and also building the practical skills that people need, how to feel comfortable connecting with other people, whether it's in person, on stage, or on camera. I've been teaching this for a decade. And I think that a lot of people before felt like it was only for other people to do that. And now here we are, my children are online learning. My clients are online. I've watched people like have this urge to really say, okay, how do I need to pivot in my career and understand that I can build something that maybe even can create a new revenue stream for me. So the popularity of my online courses just went like that, because I do have a very specific skill set to teach people how to be themselves, but even making tiny adjustments. It's really, people think they need to become different people. No, you need to think about very practical things. Like right now, I'm looking at the lens right now instead of looking at your beautiful face. And that tiny adjustment, like the little aha moment of that, suddenly you can take these tiny little tips and start to look more professional, which gives you the confidence to say, I can do this. I can learn how to make my background interesting and be well lit and look at the lens and find my words so I'm not thinking I have to read a script or be perfect. It's really breaking through these illusions, but like in a very technical, common sense way, which slowly builds confidence, and it opens up your mind to what's possible. Like I think 2020 is a time of great seeing, right? 2020 vision, where we have to look at the challenges that are around us and start to think about, well, what's possible? And what can I take upon myself to go learn, do, and be that will expand how I can be a force for good in this world, but also like take care of myself, take care of my family, reinvent. I don't know, people I've heard this cliche, and I think it happens a lot to creative people and certainly entrepreneurs. The idea came downloaded to me in the shower, like full on, like the name Wishbeads, and the idea of seeing your wish in detail, of writing it down and wearing it as a visible reminder for you to take action. It came fully formed in a download. And I will tell you, I'm like one of those interesting people that I'm both a dreamer, but I'm also like super practical and methodical. Like I've got like woo-woo and business like combined. And so I was so skeptical of the name Wishbeads, because literally my first thought, my practical thought was, there's no way that name is available, because that is like the easiest, like that is such a basic, normal name. So grabbed the towel, ran to the computer, and I was like, I'm just going to check. And everything was available, the URL, the trademark, everything. And to me, I will tell you, it was a sign. It was a sign. And Wishbeads is all about signs. It's about holding the vision of what you want and writing it down, putting the pin in the map of where you want to go, seeing it, using that as almost your beginning point so that you can create a blueprint of how to get there. But then the wish work is all about tuning in and noticing how supported you are along the way. And the more you do it, you develop this trust. So you begin to look for it. You begin to ask for what you want and say, what, I'm not going to work so hard. I'm going to beckon that thing to me, what I want. And it's that dance between asking and receiving. So when I saw that the name Wishbeads was available, I was like, okay, like game on. I have no time for this. I had younger children at the time, busy business of students and clients and speaking and traveling and all of it. Cup was full. And yet I was like, this is a good idea. This is a fun idea. And then began the business of reaching out, developing, I never made a physical product before. And it's like gorgeously packaged. And there was so many like almost miracles that had to come together to take this idea from a twinkle in my eye and a whisper in my ear into reality. So again, the effort that it takes to make your wishes come true, it doesn't have to be hard and uncomfortable. It can be exhilarating, and it could be the kind of thing like if you go to the gym and you have a good workout, it's like a good sweat. The exciting thing about this journey has been the journey itself, been the creation of it, which is I'm a big creator. And so that's really what I've loved, taking things from nothing, from ideas, from whispers, and putting them and doing the work to create them, and then seeing the impact of that, and that's probably will never change. I'll be like an old lady making up things because that's what I love to do. It really is about the power of intention and also the narrative that we have in our minds. It's amazing. And maybe this does have a little bit about acting, because when you have a script, you have this sort of energy, intention. It's like, this is what's going to happen. And the character, you start to see their thoughts. But think about it. We all have the thoughts in our heads. And where our chatter is in our mind is how we perceive the world. So the question is, are you living out a tragedy? Are you living out a comedy, a rom-com? Are you living out a drama? Are you living out like a justice story? Like, what is the movie that is your life? And what role are you playing? Now, by wearing a visible reminder, in a way, you are rewriting your script because you're imagining a moment where you are living your wish. And by wish, I'm not actually referring to tangible things. Some people believe that like, oh, I'm going to be happy when I have this much money in my bank account, or I'm driving this car, or I'm living in this house. But what I invite people to do, and I host monthly virtual wish circles. So it's a time where I actually guide people virtually through this visualization experience. And in this moment, you're also connecting with how you feel in that moment. And when you see it, even if you consciously have a wish, sometimes something else pops up in this guided visualization. You start to notice the details that are around you. Who are you with? What is the time of day? Where are you? What are you doing? And from that, you're capturing the essence of it by writing it down in long form in my book or in a journal, and then taking the essence of it as if it was like a movie title. And for me, in my last visualization, I saw a future property, and it wasn't so much about like the big house or whatever. It was actually a tiny little ceramics studio that I'm going to build on this property. And I had just started taking ceramics, so it's not like I'm a big, ceramicist right now, but I do love ceramics. And I saw this little ceramic studio, and I saw so many details of it. Like I could make a whole Pinterest page about this one thing, and I probably will. But in my the little wish paper, I wrote my ceramic studio, and I rolled it up and I put it inside one of my bracelets. And when I wear it, that is my touch point to get me back into the feeling, the peace and the feeling that I had by being in that space. Then by connecting to that energy, I bring it to the now, to all the details, the Excel spreadsheets, the meetings that I need to have. I infuse that future state of being into my present moment to lift me up in those moments when I am feeling overwhelmed or frustrated, or all the colors of life that just happen every day. And I think that's part of the dance with this wishing and wish work. It's to anchor you in the feeling, to bring it back to you, and also to keep you positive and proactive. So let's talk about this future land that I will manifest, and the ceramic studio that I'm going to create. I can choose to take consistent action towards it. And that may mean setting up a separate bank account called our future pad and putting money there. Or it could be creating a Pinterest page that starts to put pictures. And what I'm doing is I'm saying, yes, that's coming. So I better prepare myself because it's coming. See how this can almost feel like a game? And many of us are convinced that we're just like, there's too many factors that are beyond our control. So it just won't happen to me. Really? I think everything is within our control. And when we can start to wish bigger, not just for ourselves, but let's say you want to have equality and justice for everybody. What are we actually doing to hold the energy of that possibility and take action with love towards making that happen? It's an energy and action. And I believe that it's up to us to plant those seeds of possibility with our hearts and minds and actions. And then we are the creators of the world that we want to see and the life that we want to experience. I have one really funny one, and I have a podcast, so I do interview people. And there was one amazing woman who was so adorable because she wrote to me first. She actually wrote me an actual letter, which is just like the coolest. I'm going to write some more letters because it's so fun to get them. But anyway, she was convinced that the Washington Nationals won the World Series because of her Wishbeads bracelet. And she's a teacher, And she's also one of those super fans. Like she and her husband have like a shrine to the Washington Nationals, have like the bobbleheads and the banners, like all the things, right? And so she was so excited about this, and she would wear her Wishbeads bracelet all during the Nationals, and they were big underdogs. I'm from Washington D.C., so I was like actually watching all this, and the kids in her classroom, she's also a teacher, was like, oh my gosh, did you wear your Wishbeads? Because there's a game tonight. And they all started to like feel this energy of like, and then one time, she was so funny. So you can listen to the interview. But one time she said she was going to like this party, like this watch party. And for whatever reason, she either like didn't put it on or was like, it doesn't really go with my outfit. I don't even know what. She didn't wear it and they lost. And then she was like, that is it. I am committed 100%. Anyway, so she was fantastic. And she joked about how, like, truly, she was like, no, I'm telling you, it was my wish and it came true. But they're not all lighthearted that way. Sometimes it's actually much more subtle, but also so profound in the sense that I just the other day got an email from someone who was sharing her wish journey. And she's a young woman, 25, who was diagnosed with a very aggressive form of cancer. And someone who she actually sent her a Wishbeads bracelet and didn't say who it was from, just sent it to her anonymously. And she started doing the wish work. And the wish work, you can get my book, but it's also a free app called under Wishbeads in iTunes. And she started doing the wish work, and she wrote me 5 specific examples of 5 days in which one of the days is an invitation to hear music on the radio or on a streaming or whatever, and see if there's a message in the lyrics. Another one was saying her wish out loud. Another one, I can't remember some of the other examples, but the essence of it was she was just thanking me from going from this place of feeling overwhelmed and scared and feeling like, why me? And all of it, to feeling like this was part of her story, that she was a warrior, that she felt more love, more the gift of the present moment, the gift of feeling that there is this invisible force that is supporting her on this journey. And it's like, it was like a Tuesday at 2:00 or whatever when I got this email, and I'm in the middle of like an epically long to-do list, and I just like start crying, because they say to yourself, it's not me. She did the work. But you start to realize that your wishes and dreams are often not about you. They're through you, because you never know who you're going to help. Look at you. You never know who you're going to inspire by the audience that plugs into your videos and in your world. And so in a way, there was moments when you want to give up or you feel that you can't, you start to connect to why you're doing it and let go. Because just by doing your thing, it creates this ripple effect. And you don't know whose lives you're going to shift, or whose heart you're going to lighten, or who's someone who's going to go from feeling I can't do this to I can do this. And so that is truly an act of selfless giving. And that is what inspires me to show up every day. The book is called Wish Work, and it actually functions as a journal. So it tells a little bit about manifestation, the power of intention, how it works, how wishing works in my view, and the power of it in your own life. But then when you go into the 21 days, they're just like wildly simple exercises. The first one actually starts out with time to smile. So it's a little invitation of something that you do during the day, and then there's space to write and reflect on it at night. One woman shared with me that she was on like a girls' getaway weekend, and the host, or the woman who brought them all together, gave everybody Wishbeads, and they did the visualization. And this woman said to me, this like is actually not totally my thing, but I thought it was a beautiful bracelet. So I was like, cool, whatever. But she gave everybody the book, and she read, that the first day was time to smile. Now she read this in the airport on her way home. And again, she said to me, Alexa, look, like this is not actually my thing. I'm a bit skeptical. So I'm sitting there waiting to board my flight. I read your book, and then I get to the first day. It was day 1. I'd already done the visualization. Time to smile. And the invitation is just to notice smiles. And if you don't see anybody smiling, then you be the one to smile, and it might elicit a smile in somebody else. So she picks her head up and she looks around, and everybody has got their head stuck in their phone. Everybody is doing their thing. And it's also that tension between like pre-boarding tension where, people are like, anyway, so she looks up and she catches the eye of a little boy, maybe 4 or 5. He does not have his head in a device, miraculously. And he sees her looking at him and her smiling at him. And he walks right up to her and says, "You are the best person ever." And she literally dropped her jaw, was like, what the heck? And I don't know why that kid did that, but in a way, she was testing the universe. She was not testing me, testing, I don't believe this, but I'm going to try it anyway. And so the universe boomeranged back this like unbelievably different response, seemingly innocent. Like, I don't know this kid. I don't know what the circumstance was. But for her, it was like, okay, I'm all in. Like, I'm all in. I get it. Because I don't know what that was. But the wave of positivity coming back to me is, and that's what the wish work is about. It's about individually you having an experience that makes you believe in you. Wish beads are not magic. People are magic. People are capable of anything. And we often sabotage ourselves in all the ways that we've been taught to focus on fear and anxiety and things are overwhelming and we're all doomed and yada, yada. But people are amazing. And it starts with awakening that deep sense of possibility within ourselves. So wish beads and the wish work is about awakening you to your own magic. Well, gosh, there's so many things about entrepreneurship right now, especially as people are looking to ways to pivot. So on one hand, it can feel exciting. And I don't want to glorify the road of entrepreneurship because truthfully, it's not for everybody. You have to be someone who really enjoys the journey, who is a deep learner, who is very disciplined, like very disciplined, to stay committed to taking action all the time. And you know this, Sarah. So it's not, I don't want to glorify it, but there is freedom to create what you want. So to me, if I was just beginning, I would start with an energy of curiosity, of looking out there and really looking before you jump and you see sort of the first bright, shiny object and you say, oh, I'm going to do it just like them. Just get curious about what feels like a dream job. Get curious about other people's stories. One podcast that I like to listen to is How I Built This. And so it's really the real stories behind the people and some of the biggest brands and companies in the world and how they did what they did. And so there's sometimes where I can look back and I retell my own story and I can see something that's linear, but at the time it feels like a hot mess. At the time you're sitting up there alone. And I'm telling you my own story. When I decided to create an online course, it was so early. Nobody was creating online courses. And the reason why I did it is because the way that I share information is by talking. Much harder for me to sit down and write an interview. I've written a book, but it's more effortful. And I thought, okay, I'm going to break down what my methodology is in advance. I'm going to stand in front of a camera and I will speak it. That's part of my gift. And yet when I was frustrated, when I would like sneeze in the middle of the take, I shot it totally alone. I had 2 little babies at home. I mean, it was really like the impossible thing. And little did I know, a decade later, this has really been, with so many students and so like such a much more comprehensive thing, it gave me, I don't know, courage to say like absolutely anything is possible. But right now it can feel like you missed the boat, you're too late, there's too many people, there's too much noise. No. Look with curiosity, with compassionate curiosity about the landscape of entrepreneurship, whether it's courses or creating a product or doing a Kickstarter, and just stay there and start taking notes. What feels right? What would be exciting? How do I begin where I am? How do I remove the obstacles, whether they're financial obstacles or time or equipment? And so I can begin the journey. And there's lots of people out there who can teach you. But I think that what happens is people think that they need to do it now. You can begin now, but it's not a race. It is a slower journey than people realize, and you pace yourself, and that path will become clearer and clearer what you need to do. Okay, so many things, because I really have embraced the fact that I am a creator. Like, that's what I love. So two things. Over at alexafischer.com, I did just recently relaunch my platform, and I do have 3 amazing master courses that are launching soon. So depending on when anybody is watching this, they're either there or they're coming. But so I'm super excited about that, because in all of this wildness of 2020, I really reconnected with my love of teaching. I really love teaching. And one of the things that's tricky about online courses is I pour my heart and my teaching into those videos, but I miss the community and the connection. So with these master classes, it's going to come built in with more live teaching with me, which is really fun. But in the Wishbeads world, I'm coming up with some great new products. One of which is, in this pandemic, my mom was so looking for, she's normally traveling and volunteering and doing all this stuff, looking for something to do. So I said, listen, so she's literally my manufacturer now. She's making Wishbeads. Like, she's possessed. She loves it so much. And I finally took all of my old beads that I've been sourcing over the years. Because when you're looking to build a collection, you go to bead shows. And anyway, I had like 40 pounds of beads, which is a lot of beads. And I brought them over to her, and I was like, we're going to offer something new. And it's going to be called like Billy Beads. My mom's name is Billy. And what it is they're one of a kind bracelets. And it's she's super stylish. My mom is crazy stylish, and she's going to design them. And when you buy it, you don't know what you're going to get. It's like a surprise inside, like a crack-jack box. And so that's something that I'm going to launch soon. And then the other thing is, I wrote a children's book called Look Up and See. And it's kind of like, it's a story of a little girl who's scared and alone, and who gets wisdom from a very old redwood tree, and inspires her to climb up and really connect with nature and see the world from a totally different perspective. So I wrote the book. It's being illustrated. And in addition to the actual book that I'm writing, I'm going to create these little cards that go with the book. And they're like little lookup lessons, an invitation for you to pick a card and what can you look and see today to connect with nature. Because I'm seeing a world in which more and more we're thinking that it's normal to keep our faces in front of screens. And for little children and for adults to understand that this planet is phenomenal and life is happening outside of our screens. It's happening in the miracle of a leaf and clouds and sunshine and animals and the wisdom that comes through nature. So that's something I'm noodling and creating, and we'll see when it launches, but it's in the works.
Thank you for watching The Sarah Scoop Show. Head to sarahscoop.com for more.